Your dog is pacing, sighing, and circling at 3 in the morning, and you are exhausted before your alarm even goes off. You are probably making one critical, invisible mistake that is keeping both of you awake. Tonight, we fix it. Together. If you are reading this through half-closed eyes because you barely slept last night, take a breath. You are not failing your dog. You are not doing something wrong because nobody ever explained this to you. Nobody ever taught you how to read what your dog is actually communicating in the dark. And that is not your fault. Think about how many mornings you have dragged yourself out of bed, foggy and irritable, after a night spent listening to nails clicking on the floor or a heavy sigh right next to your pillow. You still had to show up for work the next day. You still had to function on almost no rest. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet question kept surfacing over and over. What is actually wrong with my dog at night? And why does nothing I try seem to help for very long? Here is the pattern most owners fall into. Your dog is restless at night. So you reach over, you stroke his side, you whisper that everything is okay. And for a moment, it almost seems to work. Then his breathing quickens instead of slowing. His muscles stay tight under your hand. He gets up again, circles twice, and flops down somewhere new. You tried the one thing every article told you to do, and somehow it backfired completely. Traditional dog training mistakes almost always start here, with the assumption that touch alone equals comfort. But touch is not neutral. It is a transmission line. When your hand is resting on a dog who is dialed into your every micro movement, you are not offering calm. You are offering data. And if your own nervous system is still running hot from the day, that is exactly what gets transmitted straight down your arm and into his body. Your dog is not choosing to stay alert. He is reading your heartbeat, your breath, your tension, and responding to it the only way he knows how. Now think about last night for a second. When you tried petting your dog to settle him down, did his breathing speed up or slow down under your hand? That is the exact same question owners ask us constantly. And the honest answer is almost always the same. He was not settling into comfort. He was reading your signal, and your signal was still broadcasting stress, loud and clear, right through your fingertips. This is why the crate solution so often makes things worse. You were probably told that if your dog will not stop circling in bed or keeps pressing against you all night, the fix is distance. Put him in a crate, move him to another room, close the door and hope for the best. But what does isolating an animal whose entire biology is built around finding safety through closeness actually create? Not rest. It creates a spike in separation anxiety, and ironically, more barking, more whining, more disruption the moment the lights go out. The traditional advice treats presence as the problem, when presence was never the problem at all. It was always about what that presence was carrying. Distance does not teach a nervous system to settle. It only teaches a dog that the one source of safety he understands has suddenly, inexplicably, disappeared behind a closed door. So if it is not the cuddling, and it is not the distance, what is actually going on here? This is where canine psychology gets genuinely fascinating, and where most owners have never been given the real answer, because nobody ever explains how to settle a dog down for sleep the right way. Your dog isn't misbehaving when he circles the bed 5 times before lying down, or when he suddenly presses his whole body against your leg at midnight. He is doing something far more precise. He is trying to regulate a nervous system that is still absorbing the residue of your day, because dogs are wired for a biological connection so deep that their physiology often shifts to mirror ours, hour by hour, day after day. This is not a guess or a nice idea we came up with to sound smart. A study out of Linköping University, published in the journal Scientific Reports, measured long-term cortisol levels in dogs and their owners using hair samples collected over several months. The researchers found that a dog's stress hormone levels tracked closely with the owners, rising and falling together over time, almost like two instruments tuned to the same frequency. In other words, your dog's nervous system was, quite literally, syncing with yours, whether either of you realized it or not. That single finding changes everything about how we should be thinking about a dog restless at night. Your dog is not being difficult. Your dog is not confused. Your dog is functioning exactly the way canine psychology says he should, as a living barometer of the emotional weather in your home. When you understand that, the whole nighttime ritual stops looking like bad behavior and starts looking like information you can actually use. We call this deeper framework the emotional sync method, and it starts with one simple shift: understanding the root cause of dog behavior instead of managing the surface symptom every single night. Before we go further, if this is landing for you, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we walk through the biology behind these patterns every single week, and you do not want to miss the next one. Let's talk about what you can actually do tonight. I am going to walk you through 5 steps. The first is about regulating yourself. The second is about learning to read him correctly. But stay with me until the 4th, because it quietly contradicts almost everything you have ever been told about crates. This is just the entry point into the emotional sync method, not the whole picture. So think of it as a first step rather than the finish line. First, before you approach your dog at bedtime, regulate yourself. Stand still for 10 seconds. Slow your exhale until it is longer than your inhale. This alone shifts your baseline heart rate, and your dog is reading that baseline before you even touch him. So give him a calmer signal to read in the first place. Second, notice what your dog's circling is actually telling you. A dog circling in bed once or twice, sniffing, then settling within a few seconds, is simply nesting instinct, completely normal and nothing you need to interrupt. But repeated circling, sighing, standing back up, and lying down somewhere new minutes later is nervous system regulation in progress. He is working through tension that built up over the day, not causing new tension out of nowhere. Third, have you ever wondered, why does my dog press against me right before sleep? Understand this as a request for co-regulation, not a demand for constant contact. A single, calm, weighted hand resting on his side, paired with your own slow, steady breathing, sends a completely different signal than a nervous, repetitive pat that keeps restarting every few seconds. Fourth, resist the crate and isolate instinct entirely. If separation triggers barking or pacing at night, the fix is proximity done correctly, not distance imposed as punishment. A dog bed positioned near yours, rather than a closed door between you, respects his biological need for closeness while still giving both of you room to actually rest through the night. Fifth, pay attention to timing, not just touch. The last 30 minutes before bed are not the moment to introduce excitement, a final round of play, or a rushed walk around the block. Your dog's system needs a gradual descent, the same way yours does. Dim the lights a little earlier. Lower your own voice a little sooner. Small, quiet, and calm has a domino effect that ripples straight from your evening into his. These 5 steps will meaningfully change your next few nights. But they will not solve every version of this problem. Because every dog carries a different history, a different baseline, a different set of triggers built up over years, not weeks. Your dog isn't misbehaving by needing a more complete approach than 5 tips can offer in a single video. And that is exactly why we built something deeper for people who want the full picture. The emotional sync method goes far beyond bedtime routines. It is a complete framework for understanding canine cortisol levels, emotional attunement, and the biological connection between you and your dog across every hour of the day. Not just the ones spent trying to fall asleep together. It is built around a 5-element cycle: awareness, regulation, signal, reinforcement, and trust. And it looks at how your mornings shape your afternoons, how your afternoons shape your evenings, and how all of it eventually lands quietly, in the middle of the night, right there in the dark next to you. We put the entire method into a guide called The Dog Who Understands You. And if any part of tonight's video felt like it was describing your exact situation, that guide walks you through the rest, step by step, chapter by chapter. You do not need to buy anything to start tonight, though. Head over to our community tab, where you will find a free checklist: 10 things to check before any interaction with your dog, including the exact nighttime sequence we just covered together. Every single one of those 10 checks is drawn directly from the emotional sync method, distilled into something you can keep on your nightstand and glance at before you turn off the lamp. No email required, just download it and try it before you go to bed tonight. Your dog isn't misbehaving. He never was. He has just been waiting patiently for someone to finally read the signal correctly. And now, you can. If this video helped you understand your own dog a little better, give it a like and share it with another exhausted dog owner who genuinely needs to hear this tonight. And if you are ready to keep learning how your own emotional state shapes every single interaction you have with your dog, the next video queued up for you goes even deeper into this relationship. So stay right where you are, and let's keep going together.